The following is an excerpt from the According to Metal podcast. Joining us on According to Metal this week, I gotta hand it to Biv. Biv is the guy who gets all of our guests lined up. He gets some of the best guests we've had on the show week after week after week, and we're really excited this week, of course, to be joined by a friend of the program and a guy who's way more than just a metal singer. This guy's talented beyond comparison, and so many genres he sings in. It's just amazing. I can't wait to talk to him. Darren Crisp from the band SunCrown, who many of you have heard, but he's doing a lot of other stuff as well. Darren, welcome to According to Metal, sir. How are you this evening?
Well, I'm doing good, Jason. Thank you. And I hope people want to hear it.
Absolutely. Now, Darren, of course, you're best known for your work with SunCrown, and had a couple of CDs out, which I enjoy thoroughly. I really do. I think the work is phenomenal. Kind of tell us where you're at with SunCrown. Is SunCrown still producing new stuff?
At the moment, there's a bit of a hiatus, and that's only based on the circumstances. It's kind of a complex situation with the group, being as though there's 6 different countries involved. And the primary member, in fact, Oleg Bibley, him and I started the group. I guess we got together in 2010, and he lives in Ukraine. And I'm sure you're well aware of Ukraine having been a bit unstable over the past few years.
Sure.
Long story short, I mean, it's a tough go out there, and Oleg is kind of battling, just kind of take care of his family and stuff. So for the moment, we're on hiatus, and of course, I aspire to keep making music, and we're just gonna have to see how things pan out with people's lives. So fragile, as you might expect, just, I'm sure even for you and taking care of your family and everything else. But being able to have a collaboration that epic with all these people, creatively, it takes the stars aligning to some extent, Yeah, so
sure.
I hope to see it happen. I really, really hope to see us do another record, hopefully sooner than later.
Well, Darren, let me ask you that, because one of the things that fascinates me about just music now in general is with technology, you're able to record your lyrics and then send your lyrics across the world to somebody who's laying guitar tracks down. It's just amazing to me. And you've heard a lot of bands, supergroups kind of doing that. Like Alan Land is a band that I think of right away, where you have Jorn Land over, in Europe. You have Russell Allen over here, and they do their vocals over incredible music, and it's just great stuff. You guys are one of the most unique bands I've ever heard of, because every band member is from other parts of the globe. Can you walk us through the process of even just collaborating as a band, recording it? I mean, that's one of the main things I really wanted to talk to you about this evening. Is I'm just fascinated by that process. Can you take us a little bit?
Well, yeah, you bet. And well, at the heart of it is the people that are involved, because it takes a good bit of discipline, for people to be patient. First off, communication, just starting with communication. Many of the members, me included, I exclusively speak English. I wish I spoke different languages, but I don't. So our communication oftentimes is very rudimentary. You'd be surprised, because you'd think, really, we're literally just communicating through the music for the most part. You'd laugh at some of our actual, text communications and stuff, because they're so unimaginably elementary, and oftentimes beyond that, because it's like I might be talking about a song lyric or something, and then the response is, "Oh, so you've had lunch with a mule?" I mean, it's just so you can't really go very deep on the verbal or text communication. But so anyway, it's finding the right people, disciplined people, and of course they understand the nature of what the goal is. But because it takes a lot of trust, patience, and you just if you're with the right people, so they're giving the best they can, and making the best effort they possibly can as soon as they can. Because also when you're dealing with that many people, if somebody takes 4 months to create a performance of their own or whatnot, it can really stall things out. So everybody has to be ignited, pushing, and trying ideas. Long story short, I kind of act as the hub for that at my studio and gather all that data and assemble it, create drafts of this music, send it back. We talk about it, we get feedback, and just try to keep advancing it, and just do the best we can.
That's incredible. It really is to me. I'm with Jason. That's fascinating. Has there ever been a time when all of you have gotten together physically?
Not all of us at once, but Tim, the drummer, and Kevin and Juliana, we've all recorded at the studio together. Tim's from the Netherlands, Juliana from Brazil. They've come out and spent 3 months, in 3-month increments, and just stayed at the studio and worked. Oleg, bless his heart, getting a visa there is just a nightmare to get out of Ukraine. So he hasn't been able to do anything. He hadn't been able to get out of the country. And it's been just heartbreaking and stifling, because I had wanted nothing more than to get Oleg out here and to be able to even possibly, even move out here and work out here. But my gosh, we fought hard for a few years and just roadblock after roadblock. So, and which is an interesting thing. I mean, we take so much for granted where we are. We don't feel trapped here. But by golly, it's just uncanny that somebody cannot leave their country. So yeah, that's made it a little difficult.
I bet. Let me ask you something, Darren. You, of course, we're here on According to Metal. We're talking metal, the best music on the planet. We get that. We know that. But finding out more about you and watching what you do on YouTube and whatnot, you have a couple things. First off, incredibly unique vocals, which are really, really good, but very, very unique. But you also sing other types of music that I saw as well. Besides metal, is there certain other kind of genres that you're really, really into that may surprise some people that are listening?
I just love music. I love, being able to, having the chance to just express. I think of music like movies, for example, hey, sometimes you might want to watch a comedy. Sometimes you want to watch a scary show or a drama. Those are all different genres, right? But sometimes you'd want to laugh, whatever. So that being said, I just enjoy music the same way. I enjoyed watching Dick Van Dyke and stuff growing up,
Right.
and I like comedy too. So I do some goofy stuff, enjoy jazz music. I do yeah. I kind of like being a goofball too. So,
Well, Darren, one of the things that you and I had talked about briefly earlier was you're doing a project called Age of Liberty, and
right.
and I really want to find out more about that. So, kind of tell us how that started and what it's all about.
Well, that was a project born out of, initially I wrote an album for the troops, for our troops and their efforts in Iraq and stuff, just kind of supportive, some songs in support of, come on guys, thinking about you, that kind of thing. And now it's just evolved. I mean, I've got writing a lot of stuff. Usually like to try to prop up kind of similar to SunCrown. I've always been, I like to be an optimist and, try to elevate people, I guess, through the music. But yeah, I've had Vinny Appice and Tony Franklin,
Wow.
Craig Goldie is playing on some of that stuff.
Wow.
And most notably, though, is this gentleman from France, a guy named Steph Hond, who I've come to know very well over the past year, who I kind of met, actually, through him working with Vinny, too, in his project called Hollywood Monsters. But he's now a core figure in this Age of Liberty project as well. And we've been really trying to turn over some leaves and really experiment with some different sounds. Just kind of trying to go for something different and unique with some stuff. So we've been really burying ourselves, being creative and writing new music. We've been doing kind of a little series of remakes of tunes too, just kind of experimenting with some different sounds, integrating, some stuff that you would deem as traditional, metal. Like we recently did a remake of Stargazer, Rainbow's Stargazer.
Nice.
And
I was gonna make the Dio comment or the Rainbow comment based on some of the people that you have assembled so far. So that stands out to me.
Yeah. Well, you should check that out. We have a video of that we just put out a couple weeks ago. But he's so good, and you'll hear in that. You'll hear him play, and boy, he's just brilliant. I just love this guy, and he's a hardest working man, hard worker.
Darren, you had kind of mentioned before when you're kind of collaborating as a band, all the projects you're working on, working with people all over the world. And this is a topic that's mentioned often on According to Metal. And a lot of musicians hear the same sentiment about just how tough it is right now. That when it comes to music, I almost compare a lot of metal musicians to teachers here in America, because teachers don't make anything, but they do it because they love what they do. And Sadly, I notice a lot of metal musicians are in the same exact boat. You touch a little bit on that and just kind of your thoughts on the whether it's just music industry or especially metal as a whole, kind of your thoughts on it.
Well, I think it's just the music industry as a whole, be it metal, be it any of it, it's just a dogfight, and you just got to work your tail off as an example, just literally before yesterday, I had the fortune of somebody having recommended me to this notable blues artist who is recording an album, and this guy and said, man, I need a singer, sing on this. And he said, man, I think I know just a guy. and he was thinking of me, you know. Anyway, sent me